Hey guys, how's it going, Dudey? I'm back with another video. Before we get into that, basically my clip-on mic, which is excellent by Rode, this shirt, it kind of pulls it forward a little bit, so I'm going to hold it today. Feel very professional. This case is known as Katie Collman's Revenge. The 25th of January 2005 was a normal day in the Collman household. Katie was taken to school, and apparently she was incredibly excited because the following day there was a pajama party at her school in Indiana. Katie went about her day at school and came home around 3 p.m. Her mum was in the kitchen preparing dinner, and apparently they had ran out of toilet roll, so Katie's mum asked her if she would go to the local dollar store shop to get some more toilet roll. Now, apparently the dollar store was only a block and a half away. She'd go there all the time. Despite Katie being 10 years of age, this was something she did a lot, and so her mum was confident that she would be absolutely fine, just like all the other times she'd done it before. Unfortunately, this day it was not to be the case. A little while passed and her mum didn't think too much about it because Katie was a very friendly person. She had a lot of friends and she lived in a town of 1,500 people where everyone knew everyone. It was one of those very friendly towns. So she just thought she's seen a friend, she'll be back very soon. Well, what actually happened was Katie got to the dollar store. She purchased the toilet roll. Apparently the clerk behind the till even helped her count out the money required for this toilet roll. She then popped into the bank next door to the shop because in the bank they had lollipops in a little bowl on the desk. So she grabbed one of those. She was seen by the staff in the bank. She then went towards the railway, witnessed a neighbour's dog unfortunately hit by a train, so she went to the neighbour's house, informed the neighbours that unfortunately their dog had passed away at the railway, but at some point shortly after this, she was kidnapped. So her mother, after a few hours had passed, really did start to worry and called the police. By the time the police got to the scene around 7:30, already there were 150 local people trying to find Katie. They searched high and low. The police even had sniffer dogs, and of course the sniffer dogs went all the way to the railway, but as the neighbour later confirmed what I just told you, that Katie had been there, but by her own accord seen the dog, gone to the neighbour's house and informed them. So essentially the railway was pretty much a dead end. Now, although she was missing, there was no indication that this was an abduction or a kidnapping, so no Amber Alert was set initially. The locals came together to put up posters, you know, Katie, a picture of Katie, her height, distinguishing features. She had a lazy eye, brunette, chin length hair. She was apparently wearing a light blue coat, some black tracksuit bottoms. And so basically these posters were there giving a good description of what Katie looked like when she went missing, giving everyone the best opportunity and chance to find her. On the 29th of January, 4 days after she went missing, there was a composite drawn of what witnesses claimed was the man who took her, because they claimed they'd seen Katie in this man's truck. They described him as around 5'8" to 6 feet tall, 18 to 20 years old, dark hair and pale skin, very thin white individual. They also said that he was driving a Ford F-150 white pickup truck. This was very key in finding who had abducted her. The parents issued a statement for their daughter's safe return. They said, look, just drop her off somewhere. You know, we won't seek you, just return her to her family and community that loves her dearly. But tragically, this was not to be the case. Her body was found with indications of rape and her hands tied behind her back. She was drowned at the creek. This creek was in the Cypress Lake area. This was 19 miles away from where Katie lived. It gets a little bit weird now because shortly after her body was found, Charles Hickman came forward. He rang the police and he confessed to the police that basically Katie had witnessed him and his friend, their methamphetamine operation, their lab. She'd witnessed too much, so they kidnapped her, held her captive, took her out to the creek, tied her hands behind her back in a bid to scare her into submission and into silence, and then they were going to release her, but she apparently slipped and fell into the creek. So this led the police down a certain path, arrested the two individuals because they'd just confessed. However, DNA from the semen found on Katie's body, as well as a fag butt nearby her body, proved that it was not them two at all. It was a false statement. I looked into some articles from around the time, and even their lawyer came out and said, when asked why did they falsely say that they did this crime, the lawyer put his hands up and just said, you've got me, I have no idea. So the motivation behind that is truly baffling. The man that they were actually after was Anthony Ray Stockelman. The DNA proved, case closed, that it was him. He was apparently not from the area. He was just in town visiting his mother, stumbled across Katie and abducted her, took her out to the creek, raped her and drowned her. Following his arrest, he pleaded guilty straight away, so there was no trial. This was in exchange for the death penalty being dropped. Stockelman was sentenced to life imprisonment and an additional 30 years for molesting Katie. But the story doesn't end here. He was sent to Wabash Valley Correctional Facility, and this just so happened to be where Katie's older cousin was imprisoned. Now, what the cousin did was he snuck into Anthony's cell one day, locked the door behind him, held a blade to his neck and said, I will stick you right now and leave you here to bleed unless you let me tattoo your forehead. So, using improvised instruments like the motor from a tape deck and a guitar string for a ink needle, he tattooed Katie's revenge into his forehead. For the cousin, he had lots of good behaviour credits. This was all wiped away and he was given an additional 7 years on top of his sentence and was set for parole in March of 2019. But there we go, that is the case. And there is forever a reminder on Anthony's forehead as to what he did, the heinous crimes that he did. So even if one day, somehow, he gets out, everyone will know the monster that he is. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. Like, share and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'm so close to 100k. It would mean the world if you help me get there. If you want to support me, links are down below. Sweet one. Geese.